It's time to make my predictions for the 2023 Las Vegas Grand Prix. What's going on, guys? Welcome back. We're here to make our predictions for the 2023 re-inaugural Las Vegas Grand Prix, the second to last round in the 2023 F1 season. It's going to be very, very interesting for more ways than one, but that's not going to stop us from making our predictions and getting them absolutely spot on. It has not happened once yet this year. We've gotten close a couple of times, but I have a strong feeling that I have a pulse on the universe, and we may be cooking a little bit this week. We're going to go over our biggest positive surprise, our biggest disappointment, our qualifying top three, our race podium, and we'll wrap things up with our Haas prediction of the race weekend. And then we'll finish the entire video off with our community predictions as well. So if you are an F1 fan, go ahead, hit that subscribe button down below, turn on notifications so you don't miss a single upload, and leave a comment down below on what you think is going to happen this weekend in Las Vegas. But let's go ahead, let's jump on into it. Kicking things off with our biggest positive surprise, and I don't think this will be too big of a surprise, but I think he's going to come out and absolutely shock us none the least. I have gone for Alex Albon. The Williams should be absolutely cooking around Las Vegas with its long straights and potential for that Williams to be that slippery little devil that it is in a straight line. Alex has been driving absolutely out of his mind this year, and I think Vegas is going to be an opportunity to really put in that result that I think he's been silently digging for these last handful of rounds. It seems like every time they seem to have a bit of pace in the practice sessions and in qualifying, the race just doesn't end up going their way. I think it might all come together for an Alex Albon masterclass in Las Vegas, and I think he's going to be absolutely feasting down that long 1.9 kilometer back straight. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I think we could be seeing something special this weekend from Alex Albon. So, Alex, congratulations. You're my pick for biggest positive surprise. Moving on to my biggest disappointment. I don't think this is also too far of a stretch in this one. Coming off of a pretty solid weekend that not a lot of people really saw them doing well at, I have gone for Alpine. And I think this has just largely to do with the fact that there are these long straights, these heavy traction zones that are kind of come into play. And with the Alpine being the least powerful engine on the car, I think powering itself down that 1.9 kilometer straight is going to be a little tough, and if they don't get it quite right, that is a long run down to that next hard braking zone that could put them in a bit of trouble. Now, we did see them perform very decently in the straights around Interlagos, but how much of that was set up compared to everyone else? Obviously, everyone remembers Pierre's battle with Lewis, but I think that had more to do with Mercedes getting it wrong than Alpine did necessarily being that good in a straight line. And so I think both of these drivers have been driving particularly well here recently, and I think they've been getting the most out of that car. It just hasn't been super great this year, which is okay. You get it right, you get it wrong sometimes, as we've seen up and down the grid this year. But I think this is just going to be one of those circuits and one of those situations that I don't know if it's really going to come out to play for Alpine. They could be struggling a little bit. I'm welcome to be proven wrong here, Alpine. I know you've been driving particularly well. Pierre's been on an absolute tear. Esteban's had a bit of bad luck here and there as well to kind of hold him out of it. But we're coming down to the end of it. It's basically just get home to the finish line, and it might be a little slower than usual for you guys. But hey, prove me wrong. I'm welcome to it. But Alpine, I'm sorry. You're my pick for biggest disappointment. Moving on to our qualifying predictions. Now, this one I'm really excited to see, because if you didn't know, we are actually going to be there on site live in Las Vegas to see this one play out. We decided that we had to go to this reintroduction in F1 in Vegas. And so I'm really excited to see this first, truly competitive session come out. And I'm excited to see who can put up or shut up when it comes to that single lap pace. It could be a little tricky, obviously, with the conditions. We've heard a lot over the course of this week leading up to the weekend of the lack of research, as we'll put it, that F1 did when planning out the Vegas weekend. It could be really, really cold, and we all know F1 cars love operating in very cold temperatures. So it's going to be very interesting. It's going to come down to maybe even more of a strategic battle than a pure pace battle when it comes to even something as simple in air quotes, as qualifying. So we're excited to see it. Let's go ahead. Let's go in. My P3 in qualifying, I have gone for Charles Leclerc. Charles has been pretty much a monster when it comes to qualifying here down the stretch of this season. And I think Ferrari could be in a bit of a situation to really take advantage of the energy that their car puts through the tires to really get temperature in and hold it there. And so Ferrari really could be on for a pretty decent result if they actually manage to get it correct. Obviously, it's not a sprint weekend, so you'll have a full 3 practice sessions to get this one right, Ferrari. You have no excuses outside of the fact that, new track, new layout, cold temperatures, and all of the like. But still, you have an opportunity to overperform this weekend. You've been driving very well, Charles. Let's see it. You get it done. You are my pick for P3 in qualifying. Moving on to P2. This is a driver who has also been driving very, very well the last 10 or so rounds. Effectively, basically like a couple of races after the summer break, he really turned it on. I have gone for Lando Norris. Now, this one was a bit of a back and forth for me just because the Vegas circuit really does seem like it's either straight line speed or it's heavy braking zone and slow corners. But at the same time, Lando has really been showing that he has the pace on any circuit right now, and the car is just living with it. So I think he's going to continue his form and come in P2 on track here in qualifying. Just behind the man that I have, pole position, Max Verstappen. I don't think any of us are that surprised at all. This is a straight line DRS monster of a track. I'm going to say it again, 1.9 kilometers in a straight line with DRS open. And the best car on the grid that has the best DRS, slipperiness on the grid. It's gonna be heyday. I cannot wait to see the time gain on other cars between the start of that straight but by the time they reach the heavy braking zone. It's going to be insane. And for one, it's going to be a marvel to see. It'll be a little disappointing, I think, because I think that 2K straight is going to kind of break qualifying for them, kind of in the worst way. So it is going to be what it's going to be. But Max, you're my pick for pole position. Unless we see something absolutely crazy. There's a threat of maybe rain on Saturday. However much you want to read into that or believe that, I don't know. It's up to you. But I think this one is, what are we even talking about this year? Red Bull's won all but 1 race, and Max has won all but 3 races. So I don't think we're going to see too different this year, in Vegas at least. So yeah, Max, you're my choice for pole position again. Moving on to the race podium. This is where it all happens. Our first Saturday race in F1 since I can't remember. I didn't pull up the stat, but a very, very long time. A 10 p.m. local start time on Saturday is going to feel a little odd to be going and tuning in to a Grand Prix on Saturday if you live in the United States, or specifically on the West Coast of the United States. But since we're going to be there, I'm actually okay with it starting at 10 p.m. because midnight would be, oh boy, kinds of late, even for Vegas. So I'm excited to see this one play out, and I'm excited to see what goes on in the first year with the Vegas Grand Prix. Let's go ahead. Starting on P3, bottom step of the podium. I've gone for it, and I told myself I was going to not do this anymore. But I just can't help but look at this circuit and I can't believe that it's not going to work out. Sergio Perez is going to be on the podium again. I'm going to find it so hard to believe that Sergio Perez in the best car on the grid with a DRS delta that is so OP that it really just drive away from the opposition even if they also have DRS. That is a 2 kilometer straight that we're looking at here, Sergio. 2 kilometers with DRS wide open. Make it happen one way or another. Let's get a good result in, get on the podium, and let's make it happen. This should not be this big of a plea to you. Let's get on the podium. Let's have a good result. You just missed out in Brazil, more so thanks to Fernando Alonso than your own skills in driving in that weekend. But let's do it. Let's get back on the podium. Let's have a good weekend. All right? Sound good? Okay. Coming in with my choice for P2, it's got a familiar name, Lando Norris. I think Lando has done wonderfully. I think we'll see something very similar to what we saw in Brazil, where Lando got out to a very good start, maybe hung with Max for a little bit before falling back into his own little bit of a window of clear air, and is just going to run in P2 for a lot of it, unless we see something crazy happen to mix things up. I think this one is going to be a pretty cut and dry start P2, finish P2 for Lando. He may battle for the lead for a little bit, but as we saw in Brazil, it's just inevitable by the time that the race comes and goes that Max is just going to do what he does. And there's a bit of a spoiler for my winner of the re-inaugural Las Vegas Grand Prix. I'll go ahead and say, Max, I have you winning as well. This is definitely going to be one of those circuits where if you can start first and just get out to a good start, I don't think too much is going to get in your way. The long straights will be what they'll be, but by the time I think you get to those long straights, I think the Red Bull will be too far gone. It's already one of the slipperiest cars on the grid. If it gets DRS, it's already over. Even without it, it's still plenty fast in a straight line and getting in and out of those traction zones. So it's going to be one of those races, I think. I think it's either going to be one of these races, like I predicted, safe, comfortable, or it's going to be one of the most insane Grand Prix we've seen in a very long time. I'm kind of hoping we're closer to this end than this end, but I gotta go safe. I mean, just because we all want it to be over here really just means it's going to end up over here. So my final podium prediction is Max Verstappen win, Lando Norris P2, and a Sergio Perez P3. Feels pretty normal. What do you think? Let me know down below. All right, I really don't want to go into this next section because I really just have the worst feeling in the world. We're going to talk about our Haas predictions of the race weekend, okay? Right, so we're Haas fans here. Tough year for us. Fantastic start, racking up points, taking advantage of mistakes and drama, thinking of Australia in particular. But as the season has gone on, it's only gotten worse. And I believe the last points that we scored was Austria's sprint race. Been a very tough year to be a Haas fan. I have the worst feeling in the world, right? So my official predictions for this weekend: no cars out of Q1, and it's just going to be pain. It's going to be pain from start to finish, and I don't think it's going to go well. We even see Nico Hülkenberg wanting to go back to the pre-upgrade package setup of the car, so we're going to get a direct comparison of this big upgrade package that Haas waited to bring to Circuit of the Americas and US Grand Prix, and we're going to get a nice head-to-head comparison to see, did those upgrades do anything? Time will tell. I hope so, because boy, does that not bode well going into 2024 if your last big upgrade package made you go backwards when you were already one of the slowest cars on the grid. Please, for the love of God, get these upgrades right. And maybe just don't understand them. I think we can live with it if we just don't understand it. Let's really just hope that this is just not the right time to do this, because I really want to come out in 24 a lot better than we ended in 23. So my official Haas prediction is just pain. All right, that wraps up my predictions for the 2023 Las Vegas Grand Prix. But if you are new here, you'll need to know that I also like to give my community their voice in these videos as well. Here at the end, we're going to go through their predictions for these same categories that we just went through. And we're starting with their biggest positive surprise. We have a choice of Oscar Piastri, who's had very unlucky results the last handful of races. They think that he's going to come through, have a clean weekend, hopefully, and have a very decent result. I, for one, would love to see it. He's been extremely unlucky when it comes to Grand Prix and getting damaged and just being basically out before it even begins. So I'd love to see Oscar come in and have a solid weekend. And then we also have a choice for Sergio Perez. I think kind of along the same lines is what I was saying during my my podium picks. Let's just have a good weekend, Sergio. All right, you're in a good car. This track should suit the car very, very well. Street circuit. Let's go. Have a good weekend. Biggest disappointment. We have someone is cooking right now. Someone is trying to cook the universe into giving us an exciting race. They have a choice of Max Verstappen. We tried this a couple of race weekends ago ourselves. We were not strong enough. We'll see if the community can get it done. And then another choice of Alfa Romeo. I think Alfa might just be in one of those weird anonymous weekends for them, or it'll be their best weekend of their lives. Who knows? I think it probably is a little bit more towards the former. Their qualifying results, they have in P3, a split decision of Norris and Leclerc. In P2, a split decision of Piastri and Perez. And a P1 consensus, Max Verstappen. One thinks it's going to be a very strong weekend for Red Bull. I also am included in that, but Perez has just been so off the pace when it comes to qualifying, I couldn't put him up there. And then we have a true McLaren believer, thinking that it'll be a double McLaren top three in qualifying. Moving on to their podium predictions. Once again, starting P3, we have a Norris Sainz pick. Interesting. A Piastri Perez P2 pairing. And then in P1, a Leclerc Verstappen. Again, chefing a little bit here, going along with their biggest disappointment pick of Max Verstappen. Potentially some drama, some mistakes, some contact and damage holding out Max. Haven't seen it yet this year outside of Baku, where he still finished P2 on track with a hole the size of me in the side of his side pod. So time will tell, but he's chefing it up. He's trying to put a little something in the universe to keep Red Bull down. We'll see if it is successful. And then finally, their Haas predictions, just one pick of just exactly the same. No good, very bad weekend for Haas. And once again, someone's just putting out the good vibes. Won the Haas car in the points. I would take that in a heartbeat. A P10. Give me a little P10. Give me a little something. Give me 1 point for the weekend. Last U.S. race on the calendar. Going to Abu Dhabi. Absolute gravy. Even if we still finish last in the constructors. A little bit of momentum, please. I need it. All right. There we go. Our predictions for the 2023 Las Vegas Grand Prix. What do you think is going to happen? Let me know down in the comment section below. And if you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and do that and turn on notifications so you don't miss a single video. I'm really excited to see Vegas. I think it's going to be one of the most entertaining races, maybe potentially on the calendar, even if it is just end up being after the fact where everyone just talks smack about it online. I'm looking forward to seeing it in person. We leave here very soon to head towards Vegas. I'm super excited to see it and see it all unravel before my very eyes. I'm planning on maybe not doing daily or something daily, or maybe I'll just do something over the weekend itself, but keep an eye out for some content around the things going on around the circuit, either here on YouTube, in the Discord, or over on my social medias. You can find all the links down below. That's going to wrap it up for me here. We'll be back after the weekend is over to see and talk about everything that went on in the race weekend and go over the predictions we just made. But until then, I'll see you guys in the next one.